Hey, first period. I just wanted to go over your test scores with you from our last test and talk a little bit about it. And some of you can kind of see what you missed as well. We did really well first period on this test. My lowest grade was a 68, but I had a whole lot of people make a 90. In fact, the average was like a 95, if I'm not mistaken. So we did really well. A few of us did not do very well, and I cannot tell you enough. You have just got to study, and especially you got to do the work every day. If you want to do well on the test, study nightly, review your notes. I gave you a study guide. Hopefully, I think most of us have either studied or done the study guide or both. Some people can just listen well and do okay in class, but that's not always the case. You got to work a little bit to do well. So if you didn't do well on this test, you have just neglected to do one of those things, because this test should have been fairly easy for you with a little bit of work. But anyway, let's move on and talk about the test. First of all, I'm just going to go through and go over the questions and show you what the correct answer was. Um, but like, for example, the first one, it says, passed after the French and Indian War came to an end, which of the following increased Georgia's territory by expanding the colony's southern border? We had notes on this. We had the slides on this. We had all kinds of stuff about the Proclamation of 1763. Stamp Act, no way. That's not the one. That was actually a tax. Treaty of Paris, no, that was the treaty that ended the French and Indian War. Sugar Act was just a tax, which thankfully none of us put that. Yay. But 11 of us put these two answers right here. And that's just showing me you've not reviewed. Identify the importance of the Battle of Kettle Creek. Well, basically, majority of us got this one right. 31 of us got this one right. 91% of us. It was a loyalist defeat, and the colonists took needed weapons and horses from the British. So, it was a morale boost. We got supplies that we needed. Then, why did the Articles of Confederation have to be replaced by the Constitution? The central government was too weak. It just couldn't do what needed to be done to run the country effectively. Hopefully everybody got their name and their last name correct. Causes of the American Revolution. The 3 causes that you should have checked. And notice it even tells you should check 3. The French and Indian War, Proclamation of 1763, Stamp Act of 1765. And the notes that we did, the causes of the American Revolution notes, these were the things that we talked about. So again, going back and reviewing those notes, that's how you know the stuff. But you got to review it. Just doing them in class with me is not enough. What 2 countries were fighting in the French and Indian War? France versus England. And again, remember, you had some Indian allies thrown in there, as well as the colonies helping out England. Who was the King of Great Britain? Well, that would be King George III. 100% on that. Good job, guys. Who won the French and Indian War? Well, 94% of us knew that the British won it. A couple of us thought the French. Again, that's just not studying. How did the French and Indian War impact Georgia? Although Georgia was not near the fighting after the war, they did gain more land, remember. So that's the correct answer, and most of us got that one. Why was the French and Indian War fought? 97% got the correct answer. It was fought over rights to land in the rich fur region of the Ohio River Valley. Again, right out of your notes. Why did the Proclamation of 1763 require of the colonists? Colonists were not allowed to settle west of the Appalachians. Remember, it made them mad. We all knew this, though, 100%. Why did England issue the Proclamation of 1763? They wanted to keep things calm and cool and collected between themselves and the Indians there. They didn't want to fight them in a war again. Again, most of us knew that one. Why did Georgia experience little impact from the Proclamation of 1763? Most of us, again, got this one. It was small. We lived close to the coast, okay? We weren't really there where the fighting was taking place. We weren't wanting to settle west of the Appalachians, okay? What cause of the American Revolution is being described below? Well, it based on the information that you had there, that was the Stamp Act. 100%. Good job. 100% on the main idea of the illustration. Let's see. 97% got this one. The main reason that American colonists resisted the British efforts, it's that phrase, I told you and told you, no taxation without representation. Let's see. As a show of resistance to the new laws and taxes, what group developed in Georgia? That's the Liberty Boys, remember. And the purpose of the Declaration of Independence, 94% of us got this right. And again, guys, it's like I told you, think about the name, the title of the document, Declaration of Independence. They are breaking up with Great Britain, declaring their independence. Next one, which of the following is not part of the Declaration? There were no amendments. It's not a constitution. Okay, we only had the grievances, the preamble, and the Declaration. Match the parts of the Declaration to its description. These are kind of hard to look at to go back over it, but states the rights of all people and the reason for the document. That's the first part of it. That's in the preamble area. Which part of the Declaration of Independence was the introduction? Well, that's definitely the preamble. The longest part, the grievances, is where they go on and on. Again, there weren't any amendments there, you two who put this, so no need to mention that. The part of the Declaration that was the conclusion, well, that's where they declare. That's the resolution of Declaration of Independence. That's where they declared, we're free, we're done. The natural unalienable rights that's listed, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All of us got that one. Good job. What did the men below have in common? Signers of the Declaration of Independence, Lyman Hall, Button Gwinnett, and George Walton, remember? Then we moved on to the section on loyalists and patriots. Those who supported the king were loyalists. They were loyal to the king. Which of the following were on the side for American independence? That would be the patriots. Not loyalists. One of you. Ugh, come on. Which two groups in American history were being described? Well, it gave you a description of loyalists and patriots, and you had to get it right. Okay? There's patriots and loyalists here, which none of us fell for that. All of you got that one. Good job. Were there more Georgia colonists on the side of the King of England or American independence? Most of these guys were loyalists. Most of the ones in Georgia were loyalists. That's a big fact that you need to remember. The battle, which was a failure for the Patriots and left Savannah in the British hands, siege of Savannah. These two battles weren't even fought in Georgia. This one was, but it wasn't anything to do with Savannah. The battle, it was a victory for the outnumbered Patriots in Georgia. But when they defeated the Loyalists, camped at a creek. Well, there's a big hint right there. Camped at a creek. Battle of Kettle Creek. That's the only one that we've talked about, except for this one. Which one of us got that one confused? What was the first Constitution? Well, it was the good old Articles of Confederation. Not our United States Constitution, no. We first tried with the Articles of Confederation. Why was a weak federal government established? Well, they didn't want another King George, basically. Some of us said they wanted each state to be its own country. No, that wasn't really their intention. They wanted strong states, but not to be their own country. This part right here, unsure about how to write a draft. Nah, not really. You got to think about the men who were running our country at this time. They were serious about what they were doing. They wanted the best. Which of the following was not a power of the federal government? They could not impose or levy taxes. That was one of the biggest weaknesses that we discussed. The statement that describes the federal government under the Articles of Confederation, right here, a weak federal government, okay, with limited power. Most of us knew that one, 94% of us, yay. Now, you had, on these, you were just seeing if it described the articles or the Constitution. So that's all that one was. You had to read through. And I don't have the question part on these, but looks like most of us did okay on these. The majority of us got them correct. So that's great. And again, this was just looking at your notes and reviewing the notes. And, remember I gave you that handout that had the weaknesses and the things that each of them could do. So again, it comes down to looking at the information and reviewing it. Now you had the two men that signed the United States Constitution, Abraham Baldwin and William Few. I even told you had to know those two guys. True or false, the national government could not levy taxes? That's definitely true. 100% of you got that right. Good. True or false? 97% of us got this right. Georgia was one of several colonies that refused to sell the stamps. No, Georgia was the only colony. So Good job overall, guys. I'm very pleased with you in first period and your score on this. Majority of you did great. So thank you and keep up the good work.